A study from North Carolina has found that social media could be impacting the brain development in children and teens. The studies are compelling. Ring of Fire's Farron Cousins joins me to talk more about it. Farron, as you know, lawsuits are now being brought. The school district in Washington State brought a lawsuit against the tech companies for this very thing. And here's what's important about that. That's showing, and we've been asked to do the same thing, full disclosure. The reason that's important is because the science is so compelling right now. This isn't guesswork. This is objective findings on MRIs, PET scans, those types of things. Pick it up.
Yeah, that is what is really interesting about this particular study out of North Carolina is it's not just, we're surveying these children. They did brain scans while showing these children things from social media. And the evidence is just overwhelming. What they see is that these children who are checking social media, some of them report checking it at least once per hour. They're becoming what they call hypersensitive to real world feedback, which means they're stuck in these confirmation loops online where I need the dopamine of getting an extra like, of getting an extra view.
You hit it on the head. They're actually seeing dopamine uptakes. And what it's about is it's one thing, in other words, if you have something as objective as an MRI, when you can see biological changes taking place in the brain connected to a particular event. It's pretty compelling stuff. Same way with PET scans. And what they're finding is that we're creating an entire generation that's so dependent on acceptance by their peers. They have to have acceptance. Some of these folks that spend their entire day commenting, they'll watch something and they'll comment. And if you start, this is another thing they're seeing with kids, the tendency to have to go on and comment about everything because they want to go back and see what the reaction to those comments were. It's almost like a reward system, a reinforcement that I'm okay. What I'm saying is good. People like me. People accept me. This is really scary stuff.
It's, to me, when I read this study, what I looked at it as the same as a drug addiction. You know, you have these young individuals who, like the study says, they cannot handle real-world feedback anymore. They can't handle criticism. They can't handle any of the daily social pressures. So what they do is they turn to this thing. They go to social media, they get that dopamine, and it makes everything better. Just like a drug addict. You know, I can't handle the stress of my job. I gotta have a drink, and you have that drink, and your brain releases the dopamine. You get the reward. And that is what we're seeing. It's a generation of addicts is what have been created
Sometimes
here.
our staff has fun around here. We'll get somebody that'll comment on make a comment. Well, they're looking to see who agrees with me. When you go back there and really jolt them and really hammer them, they disappear. Typically, they'll unsubscribe, they'll go somewhere else, which is fine. Great, goodbye. But the point being is there's something about that. They want to put the comment up there and they want to say, are you with me or are you against me? And you'll see them slip that in there. And what it is they're constantly going back and saying, what are my peers thinking me about this money? It's a biological change that is driven by dopamine kind of chemistry in the brain.
Yeah, and you know, we tell our kids growing up, I know I was told, I'm sure you were told, don't worry about what other people think. You be yourself, you go out there and you do your best. And now we have a generation, and I hate to sound like, a crotchety old man at this point.
Yeah, every time we talk about this, somebody, the crotchety old man on the front yard telling the kids go play somewhere. No, this is real stuff developing.
But we have parents that are, borderline neglectful, and they're letting social media raise the children. This is not okay. And it's harming the children's brain development is what we're finding.
It's doing big damage. And the lawsuits you're going to see, we're going to find a lot more. I make this prediction based on what I've already seen, okay? They're going to see documents to where the industry understands that. The industry plays that. How do we get that person in a corner to where what they're really coming to look for is social acceptance? That's really what they want. It creates suicide issues, creates bullying issues, creates all types of physical and mental issues for these kids. And so the documents are going to show that. I think this is a lay-down lawsuit, if you want to know the truth. The only question, the only thing that interferes with this lawsuit is 230. You know, that segment, Section 230. The difference of that section, where it comes to the analysis of this lawsuit, 230 is a protection for the platform. When a third party comes in and puts something up, they say, well, you can't sue the platform for that third party. Here, the platform itself is the target. The platform itself is creating the issue. This is potentially a huge lawsuit. The tech companies better get ready for it. Colleges have found a new way to make a quick buck, but getting students addicted to gambling on sports events may not be the way to do it. I don't know how to take this story, man. I kind of, you know, it sounded a little preachy, to tell you the truth, when I read it. Hell, you know, a kid's 18 years old. So what if he has a chance to gamble? Now, I get it. Gambling can be very addictive. There's no question about that. And the statistics show that it's most addictive between 18 and 35 or somewhere like that. But I mean, look, they're coming in, they're paying these colleges, you know, millions of dollars just to say, hey, we want little Johnny to be able to gamble if he wants. If the parents say, no, we don't like that, send him to another damn college, you know?
Well, the big issue here is that you have these college boards, right? The people running the college sending out mass emails to all the students saying, hey, here's a great offer from our newest sponsor, which colleges shouldn't have sponsors to begin with. Right. But they say, listen, you go place a $20 bet on this new Caesars sports book, they're gonna give you an extra $100. So they're enticing these students to go and make money for their new investor.
Wake up call. They already have bookies. Okay, the bookies are already working college campuses. This is not like it's revolutionary.
But to me, what gets me about this is, listen, we understand you're going to have these groups that come in and sponsor college sports. You know, obviously, Gatorade and other sports drinks will do it. You have your Pepsi and your Cokes that do it. And Under Armour, all of those. Okay, I get that. That's fine. The problem is when schools are bringing in $8 million a year from a Caesars contract, why is this not translating into lower tuitions? If you're bringing in the money from somewhere else, you don't have to gouge these poor students taking out hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans to go to your school.
Same way with the football team. Same way with the entire sports. Good point. As I was reading this, I really didn't think about that. I thought it was funny. We're talking about LSU and a couple of other colleges say, this is great, man. We're making a lot of money doing this.
And that's the problem, is they've turned colleges into businesses.
Yeah.
And that's why we're seeing the skyrocketing tuitions. That's why we have the student loan debt crisis. It's because these colleges have become money hungry. And a lot of this is because they lost a lot of money during the pandemic. You couldn't have everybody come to your football games, your basketball games. Well, how do we get it back? Well, Caesars stepped in and said, hey, I've got an idea. Let's get them addicted to gambling.
We're here to help you. All right.